Who else we have around here? Ooh, there's a bunch of people up here. Oh, hey look, it's Nunaval. He's in the same town as the guy that stabbed him. Weird. Ignatia. The blood chanter's eyes widen as you approach, and she nearly leaps for you in her excitement. She flails her staff wildly in your direction. That's him! Right there! That's the Fatebinder I sent the missives about. Oh, you gained wrath with Tunon. The Fatebinder watches you warily as you approach, but it is only in the final breath of distance that you realize his gaze is not following you, but the blood and muck-caked beast woman at your heels. The hardened warrior's stance is stiff but ready. His hand rests in the iron hilt of his halberd, but he does not lift the weapon of his holster. Is there nowhere you will not traipse, creature of darkness? He demands. Is there no hovel in any realm that you beasts fear? Did not come for hunting for a Fatebinder. The beast woman chuffs and tosses Nunaval a deadly grin. Her crimson eyes are bright with recognition, delight, and desire, as they rove the Fatebinder of War slowly from helm to boot. Okay, so he's freaking out about Kills and Shadow being here. I first thought I was getting comeuppance for my recent anti-chorus behavior, but that seemed out of character. Whoa, my wrath's almost caught up with my favor. Although, admittedly, a lot of that was because of the really comical part where talking about Tunon's mask gets him really, really, really mad at a comical rate. But Beastwoman can see Fatebinder called Nunaval has remembered Kills and Shadow's vengeance. Yep. He bristles, and for a moment you worry he may actually attack. As if I could forget. He taps his chest plate with two meaty fingers hard enough that it nearly dents. I am not the same as I once was. Try to carve me another Mento beast, and I will wear your pelt about my loins. The massive Beastwoman cocks her head to one side, studying her prey. Beastwoman too has grown and changed. Lost tribe, lost heavenlands, lost Alpha, who is follows Alpha, who is human. She sniffs in disdain. Who is male to survive. She sits back on her haunches and huffs, allowing the tension between them to ease. Nunaval considers her words before nodding once, gruffly, setting the matter aside for the time being. The Fatebinder of War tips his head to you in brusque greeting. He regards you with a harshness, his face rough and jagged as stone. Fatebinder Guy Lovebridge, I'm here, following a flood of formal requests to adjudicate in your trial. That's right, the Blood Chanter nods gravely. After dozens of missives reporting our grievances, the Fatebinder has finally come to investigate our claims. Isn't this a bit beneath your rank, Nunaval? When it concerns you, not in the slightest. Or were you unaware that Tunon has grown wary of your recent inclinations? You see, to win a war, one must equally understand the minds of both your enemies and your allies. He cuts you with a discerning stare. Better calling for me than Callio, wouldn't you say? What complaints have been arraigned against me? The Blood Chanters must protest most gravely. Fatebinder Guy Lovebridge has roused ancient, long-slumbering magic throughout the spires. We do not know if this magic is something Kairos has forbidden along with the old walls, but we do know that whatever the Fatebinder has gleaned as a result, he has not shared with us. Yet we are entitled to any weapon that will aid us in winning Kairos' war. That's it? Wow. Of all the things, it's the fact that I'm not sharing my magic from the towers. I thought it was going to be all the parts where I've actually acted against the chorus, but I guess not. She nods, a face flushed with exuberance. Well, now that you've heard my charge, this is incredibly petty. This is a stupid charge. Let's see. Yeah, I can be indignant about the voices, which is fitting. Let's see. Bloodchangers have no say in what I do. That's not proof, that's hearsay. But let's not be silly about that. Let's see. Your move, Ignatia. Let's see. I can try to bribe them, basically, saying that this is tiring and stupid. And I can say if I acquiesce, what would I have to do to atone? So time and time again I've aided the voices of Nerat, yet this is how you've come to repay me. Fatebinder laughs deep from his belly, amused by your twist of fortune. The chorus have always been a ragged bunch, have they not? Allow me to gift you a bit of advice from a seasoned Fatebinder of war. You must lead with a strong hand when needed. Strike with a stronger one yet, lest your soldiers grow factious? Oh yeah, to be of factions, right. He pins Ignacio with a hardened stare. Guy Lovebridge speaks true. I myself have heard tales of his service to the chorus, yet you heft these claims upon him with no proof of wrongdoing. I know, Fatebinder Nunavald, but it's true, I swear by... Then I would deem the only guilty party here is you, Ignatia. Guilty of wasting my time and guilty of slandering a Fatebinder. He says the blood chanter who accused you, who is now red-faced and furious. Aren't they always red-faced? I'm serious, aren't they all literally red color and face? Like, bright red? Who is now red-faced and furious, but has no legal standing in which to protest. So, the Fatebinder of War scratches thoughtfully behind his ear. What ought we do to the blood chanter who has offended your name? Let's see. I can commend her for her devotion. I can take 200 rings, which is is like nothing. Burn her at the pyre for slandering a Fatebinder. Jesus. I'll leave you to your judgment. Feeling generous, Guy Lovebridge, I believe this degree of slander typically calls for a flogging. The Fatebinder claps you on the back with the full weight of his strength. In any case, this matter is now closed. I'll see to the chanter's punishment, then you must drink with me until we forget this day indeed. You should show more interest in your work, Fatebinder, otherwise no one will seek out your services. I've done so much fate binding since I got here. There's another Fatebinder here for the first time in this entire campaign. Let them fucking do something. Shut the fuck up, Eric. The Wrath of Tunon. The Fatebinder of War watches, silent, without so much as a shrug or a sigh. And for a man of both his stature and sheer size, you wonder why he allows the Chanter's rampage. Chanter's rampage? The Chanter's throwing a rampage? Finally, once she's stomped far enough that her eyes can no longer follow her, his eyes can no longer follow her, he splits a wide grin for you and offers to lead your way to a place he knows that happens to serve sweet mulberry mead. Alright, so I didn't gain wrath with him, I gained wrath with Tunon, because Tunon's just generally bitchy a lot of the time. Alright, let's go have a drink, apparently. You lurch on gawkish feet, straw and grit stuck to your face, a cloying aftertaste of fruit and meat and something carnal leaden to the back of your tongue. Your head throbs with too many braggart tales, and perhaps not for the first time, you're glad for the momentary reprieve from Nunaval's hearty laughter. Yeah, we went and had a party. And someone's displeased with me again, but that's like that's the usual. Let's take a look, though. My dishonest, chaotic ways. Tunon's also displeased that I brought Kills and Shadow to meet Fatebinder and Tunaval. This is where it gets weird. It's not Tunon that's displeased, probably. It's probably Nunaval is displeased to see Kills and Shadow. But it seems that Tunon is mad because It seems that Nunaval's mad because of Kills and Shadow, and Tunon's mad, I don't know if it's because of the drinking, or because of the part where I just let him deal with the ruling. Neither of which really feel like they're dishonest and chaotic. But yeah, it's weird having multiple characters just put under one tent. I understand that entire factions tend to be that way too, but oftentimes I'm actually dealing with the faction. But in this case, they act like it's one person, but then I deal with other characters that aren't Tunon and behave differently from Tunon, but their reputation has the same impact, and that has a weird impact sometimes. Got more potions. Hagrin. You're the Fatebinder everyone's been talking about. Something I can do for you? What do you do in Halfgate? A little bit of everything, really. I'm decently handy with tools, and the buildings here are always in need of repairs. What can you tell me about those who defy Kairos in this realm? The Beastmen are the ones who oppose Kairos in these parts. We're standing at the bones of Azure. but below that are the ruins of the Beastmen ancestral territory. When the realm of Azure rose in power, they enslaved the hideous creatures and co-signed them to lives of hard labor. Ever since Cairn fell and the edict devastated the land, the Beastmen have started to reclaim the Stone Sea. If you find yourself in their presence, tread with caution. The Beastmen are territorial and resort to violence with little provocation. Violence against humans is always justified, because always humans are provoking beastwomen, are stabbing at beastwomen with sharpened sticks or cutting words. She curls her elongated, wickedly curved claws as she rumbles her warning. Do not blame beastwomen for lacking patience. Do humans not also swat at buzzing, biting, swarming flies? Perhaps wisely, Hagrin says nothing in reply to the incensed beast shirking in on himself slightly and licking dry, chapped lips. However, he furrows you a glance as if to say, "See?" before looking away. So not much to do with that character. They're just kind of random named characters. Maybe they'll come up in some context in the future. Isadora. Tough times have befallen us. I know Isadora, right? Maybe not. Isadora seems like an awfully familiar name. I think I've encountered that name before in a different context. These dangling ropes served as a last desperate attempt to keep the homes together following the collapse. The aftershocks proved to be too much for the makeshift supports. But I think all that's left to do is check out this nightmare happening in the main circle. Is that character's really named Rancor? Like the monsters from Star Wars? It probably means other things too, I'm sure. Marissa. My tolerance for those feral beasts just wanes and wanes. What's this now? A Fatebinder in Halfgate? The battle-scarred Fury looks you up and down unimpressed. Then he scratches the end of a dirty thumbnail along the pockmarked front of his throat in thought. Since you're here, you might be interested in our little predicament. I'm listening. Good, because you're no use to me dead. He utters a brusque laugh, but at the same time he fingers the mottled scar on the front of his throat more vigorously. He jerks a thumb toward the raucous crowd behind him. You see that lumbering beast you got chained there? Yeah, what about him? A group of townsfolk caught the beast a ways outside the city, night before last. Don't know whether he's done it or not, but they're wailing he ate one of their own. Now they want nothing but to string him up or skin him alive. It's strange, Leftclaw would not so easily be caught, yep. Packmate is weak, but smart hunter. Does not stray close to human burrows. The muscles in his neck visibly tense, but otherwise he does nothing to acknowledge the beastwoman's claim. After a beat of silence, he scuffs a foot in the dirt and coughs to clear his throat. Of course, the idiot won't talk. Does nothing but snaps and drools and growls, so it won't be long till they've killed him. What a waste of a warrior. Slowly, he runs a finger along the scar that mars the length of his throat. He peers intensely at you from behind the narrowed eye slits of his mask, unless, of course, someone were to intervene on his behalf. You're looking to recruit the beastmen into your ranks, aren't you? A real clever one, aren't you? Good. That makes this easy. If you understand the Scarlet Chorus is needing to grow our ranks, then you also must know why we'd want a beastman, especially a killer like him. I'm doing what I can to keep the lynchers at bay, but there's no abating their anger. You're working so hard to keep them away that you're not even near the... You're visibly behind the crowd instead of in front of it. We won't be able to keep them off the beast much longer. I'll settle this under my own discretion as a Fatebinder. Aces, boss. The Scarlet Fury fingers his neck scar thoroughly. I'll leave it to you then. I got to say that I'm just going to be an actual Fatebinder for once instead of the alternative. Not that I know if the actual options will be matching. Decide the captured beastman's fate. Alright, let's see what I can do. Maybe he'll talk to me because I brought a beastman with me. Possibly. So speak or examine. Let's examine him. Beastman lies bound and unable to move. Okay, that's not much examining. Those are sounds. As you approach, you take a good look at the area where the townspeople have chained a beastman brutally and on display like some kind of public attraction. He watches his tormentors, visibly exhausted and weary, battered and bloodied, and stinking of urine and old meat. This is how I would see the miserable creatures, humbled and instructed in their place. To offer them anything more invites anarchy. Ironclad whines too often about beast women. Hush, pray. Now is not time to provoke kills in shadow. And immediately I have to... I don't like how I'm forced to pick sides constantly in some of these situations. Like, their bickering is so stupid and ignorable, but I have to be like, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, and like basically prolong it. She has a point. Shut it, Barrick. Good. Am pleased. Alpha to Kills in Shadow has chosen side of Beastwoman. Will not stop hunt when time has come. It might be that she might be my in to getting into one of those towers. The beastman snarls and snaps at you, drooling tiredly as he strains against his bonds. His eyes are wide with fear, but his limbs droop tiredly, and his whole body trembles. Back away or lose life and limb. Left claw still has killing teeth, can still maim human. Hush and lie still, do not snarl at Alpha if Beastman wants to be freed. The Beastman cries and jerks, relief flooding him with the sight of his teeth. Kills in Shadow, he yelps. Left claw hoped Pack Alpha would come, please. Help Beastman. It's weird how they call themselves Beastmen and Beastwomen. Their entire identity is tied to the fact that they're humans but also beasts, but they self-address themselves as that, and they don't... Yeah, the more I see it in context, the more it feels weird that they don't just have a word for themselves. Just any word. Just any made-up stupid fantasy word for their race. Because calling them Beastmen is one thing for the humans to do, but having the Beastmen themselves call themselves that just feels so inelegant and strange. The Beastwoman growls a deep, rumbling warning. Has Beastman forgotten how to listen, when to obey? Said be quiet, stop useless whimpering. Kills in Shadow is no longer Alpha of Pack. She glances to you, obviously worried about the captive Beastman despite her ruthless show of bravado. Beastwoman follows Fatebinder now. So you two know each other. Left Claw was Pack Whelp of Kills in Shadow before Beastwoman left Pack for Fatebinder. So this was right before she joined then. She watches the Beastman and squirms under he squirms under her gaze. Whelps are always falling into trouble without protection from Kills in Shadow. The Beastman whines, unable to keep quiet despite his dominance orders. Humans claim Beastman killed settlers, but Beastman has only hunted brown boar. Stonestalkers don't eat meat from humans. Tell settlers. He growls, angry and afraid. Left Claw's good hunter, tracked boar for tribe, but got bit by Iron Maw near ridge to her human den. Bled and bled. Thought would have to rip through leg. Then sun awoke and human came, howling threats. So I can say I believe him, but chastise him. Say I'm willing to consider all sides. Just say he looks like a killer. Or let's ask about his name. Call me curious, but why are you named Left Claw? Left Claw is best claw. Brood sisters and brood brothers use right claw in most when hunting, but beastmen learned left claws faster. Left claw is stronger. So he's named just for the fact that he's a rare occurrence of a left-handed creature in this group. You shouldn't have hunted so close to town, but I don't believe you killed the missing settlers. The Beastman nods and licks a dark patch of dried blood on his upper lip. Then human will free Beastman? What fate has human decided? Is there no more information to gather at all? I can say, I have no sympathy for bigots, you're free. And I'll fight the crowd. Let's see. Or I could say that, let's see. Yeah, I need to look for more evidence. That's how this is supposed to work. So I'm gonna say before I make my decision, I'd like to hear more evidence on the matter. Proof of Beastman's proof of Beastman's mistake, of Beastman's shame, of being caught like prey. Left claw cannot show boar's carcass to human, rot-smelling chorus, pack, burned carcass to earth, blood and ash. But human can see where trap gnawed into left claw's ankle, yes? Can see how Beastman was tricked. I'm getting the wrath just for talking to him. He's a beast. And he was caught coated in blood. What more evidence of the guilt could you need? And besides, it was the chorus who dragged him in. They saw his guilt firsthand. Is that really the case? Seems like all the beastmen I've encountered so far just tend to be covered in blood regardless. They don't like bathing. What now? He juts his chin up and thought, you know, I think I recall that it was a few of mine who first found the beast, saw him gorging on a villager. Of course, they had to burn the body, pay their respects, you know. But what if it was just a boar? Let's see. How many villagers have disappeared in the last span? Were any bones found from the bodies? Who doesn't disappear these days? We've lost so many I can't scarcely keep count. Scavengers set for the valley but never return. Even the skilled ones like Dracod surely have been eaten. So they're just jumping to conclusions, looking for people to blame for anyone that's missing. All any of you have is hearsay on either side. She pales and stumbles a step backwards, but a body in the raucous crowd behind her jostles forward. What do you mean to say, Fatebinder? Of course, you're the authority on the matter. With Lord Tunon's power, you can see the truth of things, even hidden ones. I know. I've heard the northern stories. Alpha will support Bulwark's wishes. She growls menacingly at the crowd. We'll help Beastwoman, the Beastmen, to survive. The Beastman's broad chest heaves as his fear ratchets up, and he pants rapidly, struggling to breathe. What will humans do with Left Claw? Either free Beastmen or end Beastman's suffering. Oh, there's an option to have him recruited to the Scarlet Chorus. Pfft, no. Fuck those guys. Let's see. Take off his head. I can talk about speaking with... Let's talk to the crowd more. Let's see if anyone here has any evidence, because so far they just don't. So never mind, I've decided to speak more with the crowd before I decree a verdict. Is there anyone to actually talk to, though? Marissa? So there just doesn't seem to actually be people to talk to, unfortunately. I'll check with Sarah real quick. These are like some side characters that maybe have new dialogue since this started. What are your thoughts on the captured beastman? Would you find him guilty? You bet your britches I would. That beast as guilty as they come. Look at it, its fur's all matted with blood of its victims. The settlers what went missing 2 weeks ago, no doubt. He reeks of it. The lives he stole. Some folks believe we ought to consider his side, but there ain't no point to it, mister. Even if he ain't the one who did it, those beasts are a threat to our survival. I'd knot the noose myself if were the time to come. So if I talk to these people, it seems like I might be able to convince some of them that this is the wrong course of action. And if I can convince them, maybe the crowd will chill the hell out when my actual decision is made, perhaps? Let's see. And I know this person specifically is against the Scarlet Chorus, so I can use that motivation potentially to change their mind. The Scarlet Chorus is actively conscripting for their army. Give them the Beastmen, and they won't insist you take up a place in the front lines. That's not what I was going for. Whoops. I didn't think that was... I thought that sentence was going to go somewhere else. I thought it was going to talk about how this Beastman would make the Scarlet Chorus more powerful, and that would just make things worse for them here. And tighten their grip, but that's not the case. Let's see. But didn't those settlers disappear while scavenging the plains? Any number of things could have happened to them in such a dangerous landscape. You think they fell or starved? No. The proof don't lie. They got ripped apart by a beastman, didn't they? I mean, that is, you don't really think he's innocent, do you, good mister? I don't like the thought of letting him go, but I certainly won't be the one to oppose your authority on the situation, Master Fatebinder. You'll see the justice is served, I'm sure of it. That's all we're gonna get from that one. Starting to get the feeling none of them are gonna have information for me. Let's check up here. I think I get new dialogue with everyone, basically, don't I? Nope, not you. Misery? The incredibly biased person you are. Nope. No new dialogue there. Kalia? Nope. She's an optional character, so there's no dialogue here, because then I'd have to worry about whether or not she's even here in the first place. There's two people up here that I might be able to get something from. But yeah, my ability to get new information seems limited. Why is there a beastman being held here in Halfgate? Back when the town was primarily a market for farmers, stonestalkers worked as beasts for burden. They did the hauling and the plowing, mostly, and they learned not to complain. But then Karen incited them with this fool idea to take back their lands, their ancestors, and they've been nothing but raving and violent ever since. Not long ago, that one up there was dragged into town by a group of settlers in chorus. He was coated in blood, a wild thing. We've done our best to look the other way, but it seems they won't be satisfied to leave us be. Now they're out hunting us just beyond our own city gates. You assume the beastman's guilt? How do you know he was hunting a human? He's a beastman, it's what they do. Humans kill humans. It's what humans do. Even now, Kairos' packs hunt each other, while other hunting humans called tearsmen while also hunting humans called tearsmen to extinction. I do prefer to keep my nose out of these things, but if you feel certain enough about the beastman's innocence, you might consider doing something about it. So yeah, we've talked to multiple people, and no one can offer any evidence beyond the level of, they're beastmen, they kill people, people are missing, blame that guy. And nobody else will talk to me. So I guess that's that. I'm gonna free him, because fuck this noise. So far, the beastmen are the most likable faction in the game, because they're, well, it's really just because they're not the other people. Let's see. So I can say that if the crowd bothers you, they can deal with me, or I can say leave here quickly, because they will kill you if you linger. That's the more sane thing to say. I can talk about defying the crowd, but ultimately he needs to leave right away, like immediately, or they're going to get him, and that's just going to happen. I've decided to free you and decree your innocence. Leave here quickly. The settlers will kill you if you linger. Gain loyalty with Kills and Shadow and the Stonestalker tribe. Really? It's true. He whimpers and quivers with gratitude, and for a moment he turns a violent, bloodthirsty gaze in the crowd before him, then is gone. Oh, then it's gone, and once more panting, harmless eyes dart in search of the easiest escape route. Left Claw won't forget help from human. The way they draw human torsos, where it's all simplified polygons and everything, like the art style actually reminds me of no, it's probably not quite that level, but a little bit reminds me of the game I played, shit. Massive Chalice, a little bit. The weirdly polygonal but intentional stylized polygons as opposed to low resolution polygons of the visuals.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Perhaps we were wrong to, oh, I lost it. Just get the mongrel out of my sight. So is he getting away free? He's taking the slowest route out of here he can. Oh, he disappeared. I guess that means he got away safely. And I think... Jeez, 3 people leveled up. Alright, well, I know what I'm doing now. 1,000 experience. That sounds like a lot, but I've lost track of the numerical leveling for a while now. Perhaps we were wrong to clamor for the beast's blood. What the hell? So people... In what universe do you defy the opinion of an entire freaking do you defy the word of an entire mob and everyone's like, maybe we were wrong when you argue against them? That's never how people have ever worked. People don't change their opinion ever based on any disagreement. There was like, fuck this noise and fuck you is more or less their response. Alright, next step's actually going to be to head on back to the local, one of my towers. We'll have a chance to delve deeper into the local area, but I need to go to the mountain spire, because every single member of my party has leveled up recently, and I want to get them trained again to keep the, since that's your chance to get a little bit of an experience boost every level.